go through a couple of pointers with you about the quiz. So for those of you who've just joined us, we do a quiz every Wednesday that just covers things that we've done in lessons, right? I set the quiz, so I know it's stuff that we've done. And it's just to see how you're coping and how you're doing with everything. And I get to have a look at the quiz results at the end and see how everyone's done. And I can see where you've struggled with some of the questions or where you've gotten things really quickly. And I can see how long it's taken you to do the quiz. Right, so you guys, you need to slow down. I'm going to tell you this every Wednesday from now on. You got to slow down and work through the answers. Okay, it's mostly multiple choice. You actually have to work out what the answer is. Okay, you're rushing through the quiz far too quickly. So even though it's multiple choice, you still have to work out the answer. Okay, you still have to figure it out on your piece of paper and then choose the correct answer. Don't just guess, because if you guess, then that's not showing me if you understand what to do or not. Okay, so slow down, work through the answers. You get 10 minutes to do your quiz most nights. Okay, so take your whole 10 minutes and you can do the quiz anytime, right? So you get 10 minutes from when you start to when you finish. So when you click start quiz, you get 10 minutes to finish the quiz. But if you only want to do the quiz on Friday, you do the quiz on Friday. If you want to do it on Saturday, you can do it on Saturday. Yeah, so you don't have to do it straight away after the lesson. So if you missed a lesson, you can still do the quiz a bit later before the next quiz. All right. And then if a question is tricky, take your time and work carefully and think, this is not like school. You get to do open book quizzes, guys. Open book maths quiz. So if you need to look in your notes, then look in your notes. Okay, if you need to look through how we did things on a lesson, look through how we did things in a lesson. Okay, you're absolutely welcome to have a look and see how we did things. Okay, the quiz you can only do one time. Okay, so you can only do it once, which is why it's important to take your time. Okay, I think you can only do it once. I'll check if I'm right about that. That might have changed, but I'll let you know if you can do it more than one time. But if you take your time, once should be enough. Okay, so take your time. All right. Hi, Reese. Okay, you don't need to see the quiz answers. That's for me to see. All right. So we're going to have a look at some of the trickier questions and go through these. Right. So the first tricky question that lots of people struggled with, so lots and lots of people struggled with this one, is 4 over 6 plus 2 over 3. Okay. So I am going to pick on, hey, Gift, what's going on there? I'm going to pick on Sarah. Can I choose Sarah? Sarah, are you Sarah? Are you happy for me to talk to you? Are you happy to give this one a try, Sarah? Okay. Do you want to unmute if you're happy? And then if you stay muted, then I'll know you're not happy to try it. Hi, Sarah. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Sarah's dogs are very excited in the background. Okay. Sarah, are you new?
Yes.
I thought you were new. Welcome, Baptism of Fire. Welcome, welcome. Okay, Sarah, do you know how to add these fractions?
Not very well, ma'am.
Not very well. Would you like to try it, or do you want me to skip you and then we come back to you another time?
Ma'am can skip me now, for now, yeah.
Okay, I'll skip you for now. Okay. Claudie, I'm going to pick you because you have a test coming up. Right, so Sarah, you can mute again. And Claudie, where are you?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, Claudie. Right,
Yes,
tell me what must I do?
Ma'am, I think you should first ma'am, can I please like try, because I'm not sure.
Try. That's all I ask.
So, ma'am, I think we should make the denominators to be the same first.
Okay.
So, what we're gonna do is to put 6 under 2, since 6 is the biggest.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. Can I just make it 6?
Ma'am?
So 6 is, so 6 works, but first to find out if it's 6, we need to first find out the lowest common multiples, hey? So we can find out the lowest common denominator, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my multiples of 6, I'm going to stop at 6. And of 3, we're going to have 3.
John says 6. John says 6.
Answer is 6. Okay, so I'm going to put 6 down. Right. Now, Claudie, what do I do?
You say 4 plus 2,
Why 4 plus 2?
it's 6.
Oh,
Oh, ma'am. Why 4 plus 2? Oh, it's because, ma'am, we say 4 plus 2 because
Because there's a new
we
numerator.
can plus the numerator. The
didn't
numerator
I do
can change.
something to the, didn't I do something to the second denominator? Didn't I change that 3 to a 6?
You did, ma'am.
And if I change it on the bottom, what must I do on the top?
I think, ma'am, you should multiply by 3 on top.
Not 3. 3
2.
times what? 3 times 2 gives me 6. I'm going to multiply by 2, which means I must multiply by 2 on top. Okay? And 2 times 2 is?
2 times 2 is 4, ma'am.
All right. Now I get 4 plus 4 over 6, which is?
8.
8 over 6.
6.
And do you know how to change that back into a mixed number?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, but I think you have to do reverse, what is this? Do it in
What
the
half of-
opposite way.
Half of 8 is 4. Half of 6 is 3.
Okay, so we're not going to halve it, but now we have a division sign, because remember this is the dividing line. Okay, so we've got 8 divided by 6. And 8 divided by 6 gives me 1 whole. And then I've got 2 out of the 6 left over. Okay, I've got 1 and 2 over 6 left over. We need to simplify it. Okay, so when we get stuck, and we can actually take it more than that, we can go 1 and 1/3. Okay, so we can simplify. So, but here's the best thing. This one, leaving it like this, is absolutely fine mathematically. Okay, so if you want to leave it as 8 over 6, you can leave it as 8 over 6. All right. Claudie? Yes? You okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm going to, Reese, why is your hand up? What did you want to do one for us? Reese?
Ma'am, I would like to know if we can use our notebooks to help us.
Of course you must use your notebooks to help you. Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. This is extra maths. So you use whatever you need to give you a hand. All right. Keisha?
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. Keisha, what's up? You muted, my darling. Your hand is raised. You still muted, Keisha? Okay, Keisha's gone. Put her hand down. Mbali, what did you want to say, darling? Oh dear. We've got lots of hands up and nobody wanting to talk. And Katlejo, your hand is up as well.
I just wanted to say everyone must go back to the lesson. There's a lot going on in the chat now. Everyone, concentrate. We'll have time to
Okay.
chat at the end of the lesson because they're having a chat about where everyone's from, what's everyone's
Oh,
surname. So guys, back
guys.
to the lesson, okay?
Thank you, Teacher Kat. Okay, guys, you need to focus on the lesson. All right, that's why you're here. Okay, you can chat after the lesson a little bit. All right. So somebody asked me if they could do this one. Right, who wanted to do number 5?
Ma'am,
Princess wanted to do number 5. Okay, Princess. So we wanted to go
Ma'am.
ascending order, so smallest to biggest. Right,
Ye-
Princess.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, first of all, we are doing ascending, which means from the smallest to the biggest,
Mm-hmm.
which the smallest we have here is 1/20.
Good. Okay, so
And
the
then-
smallest is 20th.
And then the second one, which is the smallest, is 1/10.
1/10. Good.
And the third one would be 1/7.
Good.
And then the last one would be 1/2.
1/2. Very good. Thank you very much, Princess. That's right. So it's option A. Okay. Now, I know some people look at me and they go, "Are you crazy? 20 is bigger than 2. So how can a 20th be smaller than a half?" Okay. Now remember, a fraction is a part of a whole, and the denominator tells us how many slices we cut the whole into. So if we have a pizza, it means we have to cut that pizza into 20 slices. So you're going to get a really small, teeny tiny piece of pizza. Whereas if I'm cutting my pizza in half, I'm going to get a much bigger piece of pizza. Okay. So in fractions, when your denominator is big, that means the amount that you get is teeny tiny because you have to share it between all that many pieces or all those people. Okay. So it's the same as if I've got, say for instance, I've got 20 Rand. Okay. I've got 20 Rand and I need to share that out. Okay. If I have to share that out between 20 people, so each person gets 1/20th, each person is going to get 1 Rand. Okay. But if I share that in half, each person is going to get 10 Rand. Okay. So the smaller your denominator, the bigger the amount that you're getting, the bigger the fraction is. Okay. So the smaller the denominator, the bigger the fraction, the bigger the piece of the pie that you're going to get, or the piece of the puzzle that you're going to get. All right. Okay. Hans, what did you want to ask for number 2?
Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, my teacher, I was confused where my ma'am said 4 plus 4. I didn't understand because my teacher usually said that whatever you do, like to the denominator, you must also do with the upper number. So now ma'am said that like 4 plus 4. Ma'am, shouldn't ma'am say 3 times 2 from the bottom number, and then ma'am must say 2 times 2 again?
Yes, so that's where, it's a good question, and your ma'am is absolutely right. That's where this 4 comes from. Okay, this 4 is this 2 times 2.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
I've just, so can I guess that your teacher would write 4/6 plus 4/6 like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so different teachers write it differently. So even in my school, I write it one way and some other teachers write it a different way. So I actually, with my children in class, I use your teacher's way. Okay. But I know lots of other kids' teachers use just one denominator to show it's the same, but you're doing the exact same thing. All right.
Oh.
So
Thank
you've
you.
got it absolutely right. Well done. Okay. Right. Kimafetswe. I don't know if I said your name correctly.
Yes, ma'am, it did, ma'am. Ma'am,
Awesome.
I'm asking, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm asking, ma'am, if are we going to do more of these sums, ma'am?
We will do some
Fractions.
more of these, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
We continue with fractions. We've still got another 4 lessons, I think. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, who's Agova? There's no camera, but the hand is up.
I'm using my mother's laptop. My name's actually Linati, but you can call me Lena.
Hi, Lena. Right, what can I do for you, Lena?
I wanted to ask for question 5 if the answers for A, B, and C are going to be the same since we are using the same denominators and same numerators.
So if you look, so this one is asking you which one shows the sequence in ascending order. Okay. So because you can look at the denominators, you can see the 20th is the smallest and the half is the biggest. So this one's going to be in ascending order. B is showing it in descending order. So this is descending. This is going from the biggest to the smallest. Okay. And this one I put in just to trick you guys to see if you're paying attention, because look at those two. They switched around. Okay. So those two are in the correct order. And then I switched around the last two. Okay. So I've switched around the 1/7 and 1/2 because a half is bigger than a 7th. So they needed to be the other way around. Okay. So when you get something like this, it's asking you which one is the correct sequence. So which one is showing you the correct way around? Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure, my love. Right. Princess, what's up?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask for number C. Is it ascending or descending? Descending.
It's mixed up. I've mixed it up. So I put 1/20th and 1/10th, which is ascending. That's going up. But then these two are going down. These two are descending, which is why it's wrong. Okay, so that's why C is wrong, because half of it is ascending and half of it is descending. But you can't have it. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Let's have a look at number 6. Kimafetswe, would you like to give number 6 a try? You unmute, my darling.
Ma'am, for number 5, ma'am, do we have to do these sums, ma'am, in ascending order, ma'am?
No, so it's showing you, so in this one, it gave you, so the question gave you 4 numbers, so 4 fractions, and then it asked which list, A, B, or C, showed it was in ascending order.
Yes,
So it was multiple choice. It was asking you which one shows us that it is in ascending order, and only A is in ascending order. Okay, so when it's multiple choice, it's going to give you 3 options, and you must choose the correct option for the question. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to move on a little bit, otherwise we're going to run out of time to do today's stuff. And I want to do a little bit of today's things as well. All right. Here we've got 9/12 minus 1/3. Okay, so now because we're working with a minus again, so because it's a minus, we need to find the lowest common multiple. And if I write the multiples of 12, well, let's write the multiples of 3 rather. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12. The multiples are the answers in a times table. Yeah. And the multiples of 12, 12. And I can stop because now I can see that 12 is in both lists. So 12 is going to be my new denominator. Okay. So now I'm going to set it out the same way as some of the other teachers set it out. And because 12 stays 12 over here, I said 12 times 1, which means I say 9 times 1. And 9 times 1 is 9. Okay. Minus, and now 12 again. And how did I get from 3 to 12? I times it by 1. 4. So I multiply by 4, which means my numerator must also be times by 4. And 1 times 4 is 4. Okay. Now I can subtract because my denominators are exactly the same. Can you guys mute, please? Someone's not muted.
Not so much, mute yourself.
I'm so hungry.
Right? And 9 over 12 minus 4 over 12 is 5 over 12 because my denominators are the same. Okay. So remember, I can only add or subtract when my denominators are exactly the same. So sometimes I have to change them to make them the same. And what I do to my bottom, I must do to my top to make it fair. Okay. Right. Are there any, so how are you feeling about these 3 questions that we've just had now? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat? Right, so use the chat. If it's a big number, you just do exactly the same thing. Okay, you list the multiples. So you just have to do a bit of working out and you're just going to use exactly the same method for whatever numbers you've got. Okay, lots of thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, this is great. Very glad to hear. I see 1 or 2 thumbs down. So those of you who are still not getting it or who aren't getting it, can I suggest that at the end of this lesson, go on to the Watobe website and look for the lesson on operations with fractions. I think it was last week, Wednesday, and there's some adding and subtracting. Some people did do it last year, but remember we also had half on, half off at school last year, so not everybody managed to get as much math done as the others. So even though we might have done it last year, maybe it was a bad year or maybe something was going on in the background. Okay, all right, so let's have a squiz and see where we are at. Okay, if you put your hand up, and then there's a little microphone button on the Zoom thing where you can click and that will unmute you if I ask you to unmute. Okay. Tertia, I have no idea why I'm blank on your screen. The Wi-Fi connection might be a bit dodgy. Okay, so we'll just see if I come back. All right. All right, let's have a look. Nima, did you want to ask something?
No, ma'am, I just wanted to let you know that I find an easier way instead of finding,
Sorry, hold on, Nima. Nima, hang on. There's somebody else who's not muted and they're making quite a noise in the background.
It was actually Nima.
Oh, was
it's
it
in
Nima?
her background,
Sorry,
yeah.
Nima. Have you got a sibling making a noise next to you?
yeah, my brother's crying a lot. Anyway, I just wanted to say an easier way that I find to do this is instead of finding the LCM, I usually find which denominator is the biggest, and then the smallest denominator, I multiply by whatever number to get the same denominator instead of finding the LCM of both numbers.
So that can work when you've got kind teachers who give you denominators that fit together. Okay, but you might end up with a 7 and a 5. In which case you're going to have a problem and then you need to find the LCM. Okay, so it works when you've got a 6 and a 3 or a 3 and a 9 or a 4 and an 8 or a 4 and a 12. But as soon as you have numbers that don't go into each other, then you're going to have a bit more of a problem. Okay, so use that method while it works, and then when it doesn't work, use this method. All right, your challenge, quickly, A and B. And I am going to give you 4 minutes.
Okay,
4
ma'am.
minutes. So let's go 4 minutes to try and do A and B. Right, on a piece of paper, everybody is muted. And if you have a question, you can put a direct chat to me in the chat box, okay? So you can direct message me, not message everybody else. Just direct message me or direct message
What's
Teacher
going
Cat.
on?
Okay,
Oh my god.
so everybody is muted, so everyone else can concentrate.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask if you can ever like get a whole number.
I'd like to ask if we can get a whole number if we ever like add all of them together.
You can
Ma'am.
sometimes get a whole number, yes.
Thank you,
Ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
May I ask?
What
Ma'am,
do you want to ask?
let me ask. Here on number 8, are we starting to subtract and add the whole
Yes.
numbers first?
No. So step 1. Okay, so I know some people weren't here on Wednesday. So step 1, turn them into improper fractions.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so make
Yes,
them into
ma'am.
improper fractions and then you can work with them. Okay. Improper first.
Improper fractions.
Improper
after-
fractions. Turn it
then
into
after-
improper.
Then after I got the answer, I must subtract the whole number and subtract the 4, 6. Yeah.
Turn
Ma'am, can you
everything
please-
into improper. Okay. Turn
Ma'am, can
everything
you
into
help
improper.
us
Thank you, ma'am.
You. Must I give you a hint?
on the B?
No, thank you. I'm okay. I understand now.
Ma'am,
I'm gonna give everybody one hint. I'm gonna start you off with the first bit because some people missed the first few lessons. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So first step, we're gonna
Number
make it improper. And to make it improper, I'm going to say my denominator times by my whole number,
Ma'am,
and then I'm going to add.
Ma'am, we do not hear you. Speak loudly.
Turn your volume up, please, if you can't hear me. Right. So to turn it into improper fraction, we multiply
ma'am.
our denominator by the whole number,
Yes.
and then we add our numerator. Right. So 6 times 3 is 18. And 18 plus 5 is 23. So that's 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
ma'am,
If you have a question, you can direct message me.
I'm done.
Everybody's on mute. Everybody on mute.
Ma'am, somebody's background is making noise. We
I
cannot
know, I'm going through.
concentrate.
I'm muting everybody. Guys, please just check your microphones and make sure you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Sarah's not making it.
Ma'am, I'm
please
done.
please make sure that you stay on mute the whole time. Okay? Unless I ask you a question, stay on mute. Okay? Because it distracts everybody. Right. So if your teacher's teaching you a different way, then use the way your teacher teaches you. Okay? But I've got the way that works for my kids where they don't make as many mistakes. Because when you're adding, yes, you can add the whole numbers and add the fractions, but when you're subtracting, you have to work with improper. So when you have add and subtract in one, you need to change it all to improper. All right. So Popelo, I see you need help with B. So we're going to go through it together and we'll do it differently. Okay. All right.
Ma'am, I'm done.
Good. Right.
I'm done.
Well done. You don't have to tell me that you're done. All right. Thank you. Stay muted now. Right. Otherwise, I'm going to mute you guys permanently. All right. So we're changing everything to improper so that we can then work with them. Right. So we've got 23 over 6. Sabalang, mute, please. And now we need to turn this one into an improper fraction. So we're going to say 3 times 4, which is 12. And we're going to add our numerator. Plus 2 is 14. So we've got 14 over 3. And now we can subtract. And 2 times 6 is 12. Plus a 4 is 16. So we've got 16 over 6. Right. Now we can work with them. And now we need to find out what's the lowest common multiple. My lowest common multiple is 6. Okay. That I can tell just by knowing my 3 times table has got 6 in it. Right. So I'm going to have denominators of 6. Nicolene, mute, please. Okay. So my 6 here didn't change. It was times 1. So this is going to stay 23. Okay. This one, I had to change the 3 to 6. I multiplied by 2. And 3 times 2, which means I have to multiply my top by 2. And 14 times 2 is 28. And then my 16 over 6, I didn't change that. So that's going to stay exactly the same. Right, so 16 is going to stay 16. Now I can work with them. So, Lesego, what is, you can unmute my darling, okay, 23 plus 28.
Okay, ma'am, let me calculate it very quickly now.
Here. Okay, so 23 plus 28, and then you can minus.
Yes, ma'am, I'm calculating.
Good, and then also subtract your 16 from it, okay?
It's close to 51, ma'am.
It comes to 51, good.
Yes, ma'am.
And 51 minus 16 gives me
35.
35. 35, whoopsie. 35 over 6. Yeah.
35
Well
over 6.
35 over 6. Well done, Niseko. Thank you very much. And
You're
you can
welcome, ma'am.
You're a star. You can leave it at that if that's where you want to leave it. Otherwise, you convert it. But I'm not going to do the conversions with you now. Okay. So, Sikhobil, you've had your name up, your hand up for ages. What's up?
I was gonna do B.
You want to do B first? All right. So you've had your hand up for I think like 15 minutes now already. So I'm
Yes.
sorry I didn't call on you earlier, but you're going to give us a chance with B. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Tell me what to do.
Because the numbers are the denominators are not the same, I'm going to make them the same, and then I'm gonna leave 3 over 12 as it is, and I'm gonna say 4 times 2, and say 6 times 2, and say minus 1 times 4, and 3 times 12, and then I'm gonna say 3 plus
Hold
8.
on. Slow down. Sorry, I was reading a chat and I got sidetracked.
Ma'am, Singobile. She's speaking too down. I can't hear her properly. I can't hear her properly.
All right.
She must
So
speak louder.
Slow down and a little bit louder so everyone can hear you. Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am.
All right.
I'm gonna make my
Thanks.
denominators the same by timesing them by 12. To make them by 12, I'm gonna leave 3 over 12 as it is, and I'm going to times 4 over 6 by 2, and
Yeah.
I am going. You better?
Yeah.
Oh,
carry on.
and I'm gonna minus 1 over 3 and times it by 4, and then it's gonna be 3 over 12 plus 8 over 12 minus 4 over 12, and the answer will give me 7 over 12.
It's going
The
to give you
answer.
7. Good, which is going to give you 7 over 12. Well done. Excellent. Very proud of you. Well done. You should feel very good about yourself. Okay. So we had to, so I know there were a couple of people who were a bit lost in the chat. They were like going, what? This is crazy. I can't do this. Okay. Remember, you're going to look for your lowest common multiple. And if you know your times tables off by heart, then you should know that 12 is in the 6 times table and the 3 times table. So that's going to be our lowest common multiple.
Ma'am,
Okay.
may I ask a question? Ma'am, I have
Yes,
a question.
Now I understand.
you understand, Bofelo?
On
Yes,
number
ma'am.
8.
Ma'am.
Number 8.
Yes.
It says 23. And ma'am, I just want to understand, where did you find the 23 from?
The 23. So remember, I had to turn 3 and 5 over 6 into a improper fraction.
Oh, okay.
So I said 6 times 3 is 18.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I added my 5, which gave me 23.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure, my darling. Okay, so Bopelo, it makes more sense now, huh?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Good.
I was a little bit confused, but now I get it.
Good. Okay. All right. So, we're gonna have a look quickly. I want to move on very quickly, otherwise we're gonna lose time, guys.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, can you move to another question, please?
I am gonna move to another question. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Keep interrupting me. Right. What's up? Who's mamming me? Who's mamming me?
Gift, ma'am.
I think it's
Gift. Gift, what's up?
number A. It says that 5.
D. I don't understand where the girl got the 2 from.
What don't you understand?
I don't understand where she got the 2, ma'am.
I mean, I'm asking her.
Which 2?
Yeah, it's 4 over 2, ma'am. It says 4 over 2. Then you times the. What's this thing? Hey, ma'am. I forgot what I was gonna ask again.
Ma'am, can you please move on, ma'am?
Okay. Please mute. Let's be respectful of everybody.
Ma'am.
Yourselves, put your hand up if you want to ask something. Okay.
Ma'am.
So no, ma'am. There's too many of us. Okay. So if we have so many people and everybody's mamming, we're going to sound like a whole lot of seagulls. All right. So we're going to raise your hand.
Ma'am,
if you
before
want to
you
ask
move on, I
something.
need to ask
No,
something.
you raise your hand if you want to ask something. Okay, there's too many of us to just be shouting out. All right. Okay. If you need to ask something about this, then you're going to stay on and you can ask me at the end of the lesson. Okay, but we need to move on a little bit. All right, so we need to have a look at multiplying fractions. So everybody is muted. Right? Everybody is muted. I can still hear someone's mic. Awesome. Right. So when we are multiplying, okay, the first step, there's two different ways we can do it. Okay, the first step is we can multiply. So if we have a look at our first step here, with this one, we can multiply our numerators and multiply our denominators. So here we multiplied our numerators together. We said 3 times 2. And then we multiplied our denominators, which is 4 times 5. And 3 times 2 gives us 6. And 4 times 5 gives us 20. And then we look to see, are we able to simplify? And if we can divide both of them by the same number, then we simplify it. Okay, and if we simplify this, we're going to end up, we'll write it nice and fat in pink. If we divide both by 2, we're going to end up with 3. Oh, no, that's a bit too big. 3 over 10. If we're dividing both of them by 2 to simplify it, we get 3 over 10. Okay, so step 1, times your numerators together, then times your denominators together, and then you simplify. Okay, so that's the first method, and that's the one that most people like to use, okay, because it helps us figure out. No, please don't ask people to unmute. Wait, fellow. Okay, so it helps us see easily what we are doing. Okay, so that's one method we can use. So we can multiply numerators, multiply denominators, and then simplify. Okay. Another method that we can use is using cross-cancelling. Okay, and what cross-cancelling does is that we simplify before we even start, because then we don't need to multiply at the end. So I'm actually going, that one doesn't work. That one's a bit too complicated. I'm going to go to a simpler one, okay, where we can cross simplify. So if we have a look at this one here, just this one. So method 1, we can multiply the denominators, multiply the numerators, and we get an answer, and then we simplify. Or we can cross simplify, so we can cross cancel. And we can look at the opposites, right? So we're working with opposites because you're with timesing. So that one with that one. And we can look at this one and that one. And we can see if we can divide them by the same numbers, right? So, Lesedi, 5 and 5. Can we divide 5 and 5 by the same number?
No, ma'am.
Can't we? Can 5 be divided by anything?
By 1.
5 can be divided by 1, and it can also be divided by
5.
5. Okay, so 5 divided by 5 is 1.
5.
5 divided by 5 is 1. And here 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay. And now if I think about my 3 times table and my 9 times table, can I divide 3 by 3? What's
Yes,
what do you think? Yes.
No, ma'am. You can divide 3 by 1 and 3 by 3. Yes, it can divide 3 by 3.
I can divide 3 by 3. Can I divide 9
Yes.
by 3?
Yes, 9 by 3. I'm not sure about that one.
If we think about our 3 times table, it's 3, 6, 9. So
Yes,
you go
ma'am.
in 3 times. I can divide both by 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 9 divided by 3 is
3.
3. And now when I multiply my tops times my bottoms, I'm going to get 1 times 1, which is 1. And 1 times 3, which is
3.
3. That's it. Okay. So let's check
Yes,
if we
ma'am.
use the other method, what will happen. So if we say the other method was, let's write the whole thing down again. My other method I had times you multiply your numerators. 3 times 5 is 15, and multiply your denominators. 5 times 9 is 45. And I can divide both. Now I have to simplify. And what's the biggest number I can divide 15 and 45 by? What's the biggest number?
3.
I can divide them by 3, but I can divide them by another number.
9.
5, ma'am.
Brilliant.
9.
Brilliant. What can I divide both of those numbers by? Bigger than 5.
You can
Bigger than
divide
5.
them by
Only brilliant.
15.
Only
5,
brilliant.
ma'am.
Can't I go bigger than 5?
I think I can do like 7.
Oh, 7 doesn't go into 15. Well, let's try 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3.
Oh,
45
okay.
divided by 5 is 9. Now we can go more. We can simplify further. So Hans, do you want to give it a shot?
Can I give it a shot, ma'am?
Okay, give it a shot.
I think if you simplify, it would be 1 over 3.
It would be 1 over 3. Okay, so you get the same answer using the 2 different methods. Okay, so no matter which method you use, you're going to end up with the same answer. Okay, so step 1, make sure everything's a fraction. Cross cancel where you can. Then you multiply the numerators, multiply denominators, and simplify. Okay, so if you have a hand up, I will talk to you in a moment if you have a question. Everyone else, I'm giving you 3 minutes. I want you to try the next one for me. Okay, so 4/5 times 1/2. Okay, 4/5 times 1/2. I want everybody to give it a shot. Okay, your hand is only up if you have a question for me for this. If it's not a question for this, then I want you to put your hand down. Okay. Hans, have you got a question for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am?
ma'am.
Ma'am, question number, the first question that ma'am did with us, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't understand the method ma'am is doing there by like the red and blue.
With the cross cancelling.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I'm doing there is I'm simplifying before I start. So I'm dividing the opposites with each other. Okay. So I'm looking at my opposite numbers. So if we look at the next number, the 4 and the 2, is
Yes,
there a
ma'am.
number I can divide 4 and 2 by?
Yes, ma'am.
Which number?
Ma'am, you can divide 4 with 2 and you can divide 2 with 1.
Oh no, I need to divide them by the same number. So I need to divide 4 and 2 by the same number.
Ma'am, isn't it 8?
Hans is talking. Okay, I'm dividing both of them by the same number. So 4 can be divided by 2 and 2 can be divided by 2. Can't it? Because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So all I'm doing is I'm simplifying it. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then that's going to make my life a lot easier to work with. Okay. So we're just simplifying before we even start by looking to see what's the highest number we can divide both of them by. So it's the highest common factor. Okay. Of 4 and 2. Okay, Hans?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I get it now.
Pleasure, my love. Reese, have you got a question?
Ma'am, I would like to say thereby 3/5 and 5/9, ma'am. I said is that 3 times 5 equals 15. 5 times 9 equals 45. And then I said, how much times does 15 go into 45? And I said 3. Can that also work out also like that, ma'am?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I would have done. I would have said 15 can go into 15 once and 15 can go into 45 3 times. And I would have ended up with 1/3 as well. So that's absolutely fine to do it like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Pleasure, my love. Princess?
Ma'am.
Yes, my love.
Ma'am, I was going to say about the simplifying, ma'am. Ma'am, with if we have to simplify it and it's a mixed number, ma'am, I wanted just to ask in general, do we also simplify the mixed number? Like, for example, if we have 9 and 9/12.
Then you would simplify the fraction part, but you keep the whole number the same. Okay. So the whole number would stay the whole number, and then you simplify the fraction. Okay.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Adele, can you tell us what the answer will be for this question?
Ma'am, the answer will be 2/5.
2/5. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Well done. Good job. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. We are out of time, guys. We are out of time. So we are going to need to say goodbye. We're going to pick this up on Wednesday. So we're going to start the lesson with us on Wednesday, right? And we are going to focus. And we'll do these ones and a few more on Wednesday. Okay.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Guys, if you need to leave, you can go offline.